Greetings, everyone. This is your amazing host, Sonny, and it is always great to be on air with you on Loudmouth Radio Network. This is a wonderful time. I just want to just say, very first off, that my gratitude is extremely high to be able to even begin to speak on things that I feel is so important for me in hopes that it may be of inspiration to you, which is the reason why Sonny's Monday Motivation even exists. I've been working diligently to work towards creating good content that I feel could be compelling to somebody else and give them understanding of possibilities, right? And I think a lot of times we find ourselves looking for different ways to keep inspiration in the forefront, to master whatever it is that we desire. I know I have been on this lifelong quest to just show up and be the best that I can be, right? I remember my guidance counselor in high school, Ms. Joyce Brown, used to always say to me, I know that you just are always of able and capable of doing whatever it is you set your mind to. And she always used to tell me to be the best and the brightest. And that has been a long-standing mantra for me. And so as I've ventured into different dimensions of character building and life pursuits and, just, making, checking your goal list and scratching off the things that you're able to accomplish and things that you need to sometimes go back and maybe recreate, refigure, or even take off the list, right? Because sometimes what may have mattered to you at one point does not always have the same value that it may have had in the past. So what I've come to realize is that we all are on our own journeys, and in that essence of creating whatever it is that we desire for ourselves, it's so important for us to have the most important part, I think, that most people may not always necessarily look at as being the essential component, but the mindset, right? In order for us to achieve things that we are setting our sights on, or just to go day to day. Now, I'm not going to say that you have to have this whole action plan and this whole step-by-step process of how to live day to day. But I am saying that one of the very first things that you could do to help to put yourself on a better road of success in your personal life, in your business and social lives and relationships is to definitely have a good mindset, right? Which is the basically the topic of today's subject matter that I want to share with you today. I remember recently coming across something in social media as I was preparing for this show, and I had already titled it Mindset, and then ironically something in that exact title came forth and showed itself to me. And it was a positive affirmation, and I'm going to share it with you guys. A beautiful day begins with a beautiful mindset. When you wake up, take a moment to think about how grateful you are to be alive and healthy. The moment you start acting like your life is a blessing. And that is the moment you will truly start to feel this. And I think that what that says for the majority is that in order for you to really achieve whatever level, whatever goal that you may have set for yourself, something that you're striving for. And it could be something simple. It doesn't mean it has to be something that is almost virtually impossible and that you have to work up to something. It could be something as simple as just doing your day-to-day task list or getting up and going to your job and being effective in that role. Or if you're in business, setting out your day and putting forth the effort in what you want to accomplish in that quest of time. I feel like the biggest part of defining ourselves is working on our mindsets. The thing is, I do feel like sometimes we are void of how much we have the free will to be and do. And there's many people, I think, that are out here living and allowing life to take them through the day versus them taking themselves through their day. And it can happen to any of us. I'm not saying I'm oblivious to having that type of atmosphere, that type of situation for myself, because I have. And sometimes what happens is we'll see that, we can look up and wonder, like, what happened today? You know, I woke up today. I may have started out my day on a good foot, on a good note, and somewhere along the way, something just distracted me, or I got tied up into something. And next thing you know, I look up and it's 5 or 6 o'clock. The whole day has gone by, and you will make a reflective moment and say, you know what? I had all of these different things that I intended on doing today, and for whatever the reason, nothing of what I intended kind of stayed amongst that course. Now, does that happen honestly? Yes, it does. That's going to happen at times. But if it's happening the majority of the time, that can be a telltale to say that, hey, you may not be more conscious of what's going on around you, and you're not allowing yourself to steer yourself toward the things that you want to work towards, and that you're allowing other things and outside forces to steer you where it goes. And then you'll find yourself exactly that, wondering, what did I do to get myself to the point in which I've lost the essence of my day? I'm sharing this because most times I'm actively doing the things that I'm speaking on, or I'm working through those things, and I recognize them to be challenges. And I feel like I'm no different than the next person, you know, dealing with whatever it is that's in front of me. I do feel like we all have our own journeys. We all have our own evolutionary tasks that we're dealing with, because we're all individual people that have our own individual desires and our own decisions that we make. But the one thing that we do have universally is our mindsets. And it does not necessarily mean that you have to believe certain things that I believe. But what I am encouraging is, if we can put forth the efforts of how we put forth efforts in our workspaces, whether it's working as an employee or you're the employer or you're self-employed, if we could give as much attention, intention, and focus to our mindsets, how much more can we be and do? How much more can we achieve, right? So that little passage that I read in the beginning, what it did for me is it gave me an opportunity to recognize that universally we're way more interconnected than we realize, right? I've come to examine myself more in regards to certain things, because I do have stronger ambitions for myself. I'm at a point in my life where there are certain things that are not the same drivers for me. And because of that, you know, we go through transitions throughout the course of our days, in the course of a year, not even over a long period of time. Within the day-to-day aspect, we have things that are happening to us, you know, on our exteriors and on the interiors of our bodies and our beings and our minds and our spirits. We're dealing with different people, which means other energies can cause things to shift. So if we are creating circumstances for ourselves to where we're remaining focused on what we intend, that can make a big difference of how things work out for us, right? I'm sharing this because I do recognize that we're in a society that's vying for our attention constantly, right? From television to telephones to iPads to computers, you have billboards, you have newspapers, magazines, you have radio content that's chattering, all these different elements of conversation and energy and synergy. And so we don't even recognize on our day-to-day just how much we're exposed to. Or if you are aware, then what I'm saying remotely close to the objective of working on focus is just as important, because you recognize just how much is going on around you, right? So for me now, I try to keep a level mindset based upon the elements of what I intend on happening for myself. So I just wanted to just really reach into the position of trying to give encouragement to suggestively say that it is okay to recognize that we get distracted. What's not necessarily the best thing is not noticing the distractions, right? Because that is what is a lot of time keeping us from the next level of what we're looking and aiming to be or do. So I try to challenge myself and then give those things that I guess that I've created as the fortitude of my challenge to be the measurement of how I achieve the things that I need to go through or get through. So as you're doing your day to day, I'm a person that writes. I do have quite a few notebooks. I got two sitting right here in front of me right now. I do have pen and paper that tends to come across for me to notate and write things. I also use my phone. The cool thing is we do have devices that have note-taking ability, or even your email. A lot of times I'll have conversational notes or tips or things that I need to jot down, and sometimes I'll just draft the email because then it'll allow me to be able to timestamp it and have it accessible to when I need it. Whatever it is, I'm not saying that there's a right or wrong way. But I do believe that there is some power in writing things down and in working through those things to see you're achieving them. You can go back, scratch it out, check it off, erase it if that's your thing to do. But I definitely am a person of reflection. So having those things written down, journaled, scratched, note takes, whatever you want to call it, your little post-its. Sometimes people like post-its. They'll put little post-its and messages and affirmations and things like that around them. Their vision board, different things that are of encouraging, aptitude to you. I just say that any and all of these things have a place, and if you're able to do any of these things to further along and put yourself in a better mindset and a better framework of action, then do it, right? There's nothing like the present. There's nothing like taking on a task and seeing it come through. Because what's also happening is that there's sometimes other people that are going to align with what you're doing or what you're aiming for or what you're thinking about, or maybe join you along the quest and help you to get to where you need to be. So you want to be open enough to recognize that there can be opportunities for yourself. Does not necessarily mean that it's just so big that you can't achieve it on your own, but when there's working forces that can help you along the way, why not, right? Why not? I'm also kind of appreciative of this session today, because if you have been following this show for a while, I have been sharing various people that I listen to, that I honor, that I respect, that is a fortitude for me in the space of personal development or self-help, the law of attraction. There's a realm of motivational, inspirational speakers on large, small stages across, from Eric Thomas to Robert Kiyosaki, Dr. Miles Monroe, the late, great Dr. Miles Monroe. Another person I like to listen to, Jim Rohn, the late, great Jim Rohn, Deepak Chopra, Tony Robbins. I mean, there's Lisa Robbins, Lisa Nichols. I have just a plethora of people I could name. Esther Hicks and Abraham Hicks and those teachings. I have been crafting my own method in which to broaden this segment, because naturally most of these people are much more well-known in regards to their position, and they have become subject matter experts and authorities in their own right? And so their influence is wide, and it is no secret that the context of things could be accessible in a lot of different places and a lot of different platforms. But I found it important to create this funnel of positive direction, the things that I felt like I would want to speak on and be reflective on. So my first approach with a lot of these shows for Sonny's Monday Motivation was to give you insightive conversations of these different people that have spoken different stages and share their messages, right? In hopes that I would also build up my muscle of topic-driven conversations like this. And so I've already recognized that I am achieving a milestone by this particular session today, because it is in my own voice. It is in my own position of inspiration, and ultimately, my intention is for it to be a motivation to you. And I'm not saying that I will not ever go back to, placing maybe some of these people again into the context of our of this platform show segment, but I am saying that it has been an evolutionary process, and I can actually see now how I started with the thought, of I wanted to have something inspirational. I wanted to be able to give some seeds to others wherever they are, you know, um, to be able to give something bigger than myself in a space that can be accepted. And naturally, I wanted to share um, things that influence me, that I find to be positive, that I found to be motivational to me. So each and every show that I've presented, I've probably listened to it 4 or 5 times myself. That's one of the wonderful things about our radio network, is the ability to go on demand and listen to our archives at any time. And I encourage people to, to lean into whatever it is that you're wanting to achieve, and you'll start seeing things that represent that come forth. So for me, today's another high level of achievement, because I've gotten out of my own way and took some time to um, find my voice in my own space, to say to my listeners, to my followers, thank you for allowing me to speak to you, allowing me to share with you. And that I hope that together, as you're walking your journey, at any point in time that you hear this, whether it's at the time of upload or if it's years from now, that what I have shared and said to you has been inspirational and has maybe made a change or made a difference. I've always been a person to really be a motivation by character of action. And, I've had the radio platform going now for 9 years, going on 10 seasons, which has come very quickly. And in that process, it has allowed a different medium of creative space for us to share different things. And so having this platform, it only makes sense to elevate the message, in which I feel is equally as important than me creating visual aspects. The audio space is there too. And I recognize that there is some people that that's all they listen to is podcasts. That is a driver for them to get their news, to get their social information, to get their cultural events, to get what's happening, to read books, to multitask. It's so many multi dimensions of justifiable reasons as to why people are, taking the time to listen to shows like this. And I appreciate you. I just want to say, in the realm of all of it, how much I appreciate you, and that I only hope that you stay with us. And if anything I've shared with you, you found it to be, of multitude to you, that you share it. You can go to our website, loudmouthradio.com, with 2 Ds. Contact us on our contact page and share with us whatever this particular segment maybe, or any other segment, has been influential, or hopefully of some good character of building for you, or just inspiration. It doesn't even have to be about character building per se. Not to say that you're not an awesome person already, right? I do recognize the ability to use such a fantastic platform to do just this, which is to reach people where they are. So I'm going to say that this particular segment itself has been a great starting point, because everything that is mentioned has to deal with the mind. It has to be the approach or the reproach you take upon, doing things or not. Even if you don't do anything, you still took a mindset and made a decision not to. So this just goes to show you how important it is for our minds, especially when it comes to things that you want to achieve in your life in a positive way, that it has to be focused in the right direction, right? So I just want to take this time to say thank you for listening. Loudmouth Radio definitely is a platform that is about empowering, inspiring, entertaining, influencing, and creating content that meets people where they are, within hopes that it will give, um, give you guys some good, warm and fuzzy. Now, the big thing here for me is to always recognize how important it is for our listeners and our guests and our media partners to continue to allow us to be who we are. So, as always, I'm going to tell you to reach out to us if you would like to get in position to be on air with us. We do have a multitude of shows that exist, and for that purpose. So if you are in business and you have a desire to have your show, have your business featured within our show segments, reach out to us. And subject matter and the subject line, let us know, is about media opportunities in business. And then, too, I have another show that I will be introducing and giving more context to that in an announcing show that will allow us to get some diversity of guests that is doing some things amazing in the world. So I will speak on that more outside of this particular show segment. And I just want to thank you guys so much for taking the time. You can find us on social media. We're on Facebook at Loudmouth Radio Network. This show itself will be uploaded and streaming on Facebook, on our Facebook page, as well as over 100 apps like iHeart, TuneIn, Stitcher, Apple, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Player FM. We're out there, guys. So whatever your favorite podcast apps are, don't forget to bookmark us and follow us at Loudmouth Radio, LOUDDMOUTH, Loudmouth Radio Network. And as always, I'm so grateful that you've allowed me to share some thoughts with you today. So I want to give you guys love and light and bid you farewell. We'll talk soon.